Hello, and welcome to The Progressive View. Today, our topic is how the mainstream media mischaracterizes Bernie Sanders. Throughout his presidential run, Bernie has been largely dismissed by the mainstream media, but when he is covered, he is often heavily mischaracterized based on his core beliefs. The simple truth is, the media loves to portray Bernie as some sort of Marxist, ready to privatize industry and outright end the free market system. Maybe if these journalists were honest, they would report the real fact. The fact that Bernie's brand of democratic socialism is far different than the authoritarian brand of socialism they love to compare him to. One has to look no further than the most recent CNN town hall, in which Anderson Cooper repeatedly asked Bernie if normalized relations with Cuba would mean inviting Raul Castro to the White House. This question seems innocent at first, but when asked 5 times in a row as a follow-up question, it is revealed as a blatant attempt at framing Bernie as someone sympathetic to the Castros. Of course, Bernie's response stating that we've invited the leaders of a whole lot of authoritarian countries to come to the United States, and he thinks Cuba should be treated similarly, is a great point. And Bernie even got aggressive after being pressed on this question, decrying CNN for red-baiting him. But the thing is, the mainstream media loves red-baiting Bernie. On the rare occasions when the media actually covers Bernie, they simply portray him as a socialist, leaving out the differences between raw socialism and Bernie's much different belief in democratic socialism. One simply has to look up the definition of socialism and compare it to that of Bernie's democratic socialism. Here's the definition of pure socialism: a way of organizing a society in which major industries are owned and controlled by the government rather than by individual people and companies. If Bernie Sanders believes in this type of socialism, then surely he must have advocated for the privatization of U.S. industries. We all remember Bernie's infamous call for the oil industry to be nationalized. Oh wait, I don't remember that, because Bernie Sanders is not simply a socialist as the media portrays him. He has his own unique brand of democratic socialism. Here is the definition of Bernie's socialism: an economic and political belief system that retains capitalism as the primary economic system, but attempts to smooth the features of capitalism that impose unfair costs or unequitable outcomes on some segments of society. At least, this is the definition as it applies to Bernie. This definition sure seems like something that would be beneficial to the American people rather than something they should fear. But yet the media constantly portrays socialism as a dirty word that somehow should be offensive to the American people. The constant juxtaposition of Bernie Sanders and leftist authoritarians like Castro and Chavez are meant to only serve the media's narrative of Bernie as an unelectable socialist. So clearly Americans must have some sort of problem with socialism. Why else would the mainstream media treat it as such a bad thing? However, this is false. Americans love the programs provided by socialism. Social Security and Medicare are more popular than ever, and many people on both sides of the aisle decry any attempts to cut them. A poll conducted by YouGov in May of 2015 found that support for socialism and capitalism among Democrats was equal at 43% for both. YouGov conducted the same poll again 5 months later, in October 2015, with surprising results. This poll shows support for socialism as higher than support for capitalism, at 49% for socialism and 37% for capitalism. Although this is just one poll, it shows a change in the views of the Democratic voters, one that just happens to correspond with the rise of Bernie's grassroots movement. But has the media reported on this apparent shift in opinion? Not a chance. They would rather portray socialism as some sort of great evil, rather than the popular political perspective that seems to have taken root throughout much of the Democratic base. But of course, the media would rather red-bait Bernie Sanders and portray him and his policies as some sort of Marxist plot to end capitalism in America and ruin our economy. The media simply ignores the fact that the type of social programs that Bernie is actually proposing are not only highly popular in the US, but also extremely successful across the world. The mainstream media will continue to deny the efficacy of a single-payer healthcare system. You know, the kind that has reduced costs and improved healthcare in almost every other highly developed country. They will continue to question how we could afford to make college tuition free in state schools, although it would only cost $75 billion. Considering we already spend $30 billion on Pell Grants to provide college education to the financially needy, Bernie's plan does not seem so unrealistic if you look at the numbers. However, the mainstream media will never quit their attempt to smear Bernie by portraying his plans as some sort of unrealistic and foreign socialism that could never work in America. This is why we need more progressives to stand up. Bernie has created a movement that has energized the Democratic Party and has led to the creation of a new grassroots movement. Bernie's plans will only serve to improve the country. I'm in support of Bernie Sanders, and I hope all good progressives are. Thank you for watching The Progressive View. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more news and political content coming up. Thank you.